I mean, it's just a penny, right? But hold up. What if I told you that one penny, the 1988 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.5 million? Yeah, you heard that right. $2.5 million for a penny. Now, before you go digging through your couch cushions, let me walk you through this crazy coin mystery, and who knows, you might just have a treasure hidden in your change jar. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know everything about this penny's value and how to spot one in the wild. What makes the 1988 no-mint mark penny special? Okay, let's start with the basics. Now, when you think of a penny, you probably imagine the ones that have a little D or S on the back, right? That's the mint mark showing where the penny was made. D is for Denver, and S is for San Francisco. But what if there's no mint mark? That's the magic we're talking about today. A 1988 penny with no mint mark, produced in Philadelphia, is super rare. These little guys weren't supposed to be made without a mint mark, but somehow, through a serious case of oops, a few slipped through the cracks of the US Mint. And when I say slipped, I mean these pennies have become worth more than a lot of us make in a lifetime. Section 2. How rare is it? Now, you might be asking, how rare are these pennies? Well, according to some coin experts, there are fewer than 10 of these bad boys in circulation. That's right, less than 10. And the thing about rarity is, the fewer there are, the more valuable they get. Kind of like that one friend who always has the best snack at the party, and you want to make sure you get in line before it's all gone. It's the same principle. Once it's gone, and the price goes up. The 1988 no-mint mark penny is the holy grail of pennies for collectors. If you find one, you're looking at $2.5 million on the high end. Seriously, that's no joke. These things are like the unicorns of the coin world. The story behind the $2.5 million penny. But how does a penny get to be worth $2.5 million? Well, here's where the story gets interesting. A few of these rare 1988 no-mint mark pennies have sold at auctions for some pretty insane amounts of money. In fact, one was sold for over $2.5 million. No, that's not a typo. Imagine having a penny in your pocket that could buy you a luxury car, or pay off your mortgage, or just make you the envy of all your friends. That's how big the stakes are in the coin collecting world. How to spot a 1988 no-mint mark penny? Now, I know what you're thinking. How the heck do I find one of these magical pennies? Well, I'm here to help you out. The first step is obvious. Look for a 1988 penny. Then, check the back of it. If there's no mint mark, no D or S, then you might have a winner. But hold up, it's not as easy as just finding a regular penny without a mint mark. You need to make sure the penny isn't a worn-out counterfeit or a regular Philly-made penny. The real deal will have a sharp, clean design, and the edges should be crisp. You can also look for some details like the shine, the feel of the metal, and if it has any unique markings or irregularities. So, here's a funny story for you. A while back, I was sorting through a jar of pennies I had lying around. I thought, maybe I've got a treasure here. So, I started pulling out 1988 pennies one by one, examining them like I was Indiana Jones uncovering a lost relic. Fast forward, I find a 1988 penny with no mint mark. My heart starts racing. Is this it? Is this the $2.5 million penny? I hold it up to the light, check the edges, then I realize, oh, I was looking at the wrong side. It's a regular Philly-made penny, nothing special. Classic rookie mistake. But hey, it was fun while it lasted. Alright, so you think you found the golden ticket, huh? It's important to get an expert to confirm that it's the real deal. The best way to do that is by sending it to a reputable grading service, like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. They'll check it out, grade it, and if it's legit, you could be looking at a small fortune. Trust me, if you've got one of these pennies, it's worth getting it professionally authenticated. Now, if you're out there hunting for rare pennies, there are other ones you should be on the lookout for. We're talking about things like the 1955 double die penny, the 1943 copper penny, or the 1970 small date penny. These, too, are worth big bucks, and I'll bet you didn't even know about half of them. I'll be doing more videos on these guys soon, so stay tuned. The 1988 no-mint mark penny is an absolute treasure if you happen to find one. It's a rarity, worth a potential $2.5 million and a real gem for coin collectors. If you find one, don't just throw it back into your jar of loose change. Get it authenticated and see if you're sitting on a small fortune. If you enjoyed this video and you're ready to learn more about coins worth money, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on all the tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies I've got coming your way. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Who knows? Maybe the next video will help you find your own million-dollar penny. You're cleaning out your grandparents' attic or digging through that box of loose change you've had stashed away forever, and you stumble across something that seems like any other penny. But hold on. It's not just any penny. It's a 1982 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and it could be worth up to $2.6 million. Yes, you heard that right. That tiny coin, the one you might just toss in your pocket without a second thought, could make you a small fortune. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this little penny is so valuable, how to spot one, and what you could potentially do with it if you ever find one in your collection. So, let's jump in. You're probably thinking, wait, how on earth does a penny, one of the least valuable coins in circulation, end up being worth millions? Great question, and I'm glad you asked. Let's break it down. So, the 1982 penny is an interesting case because that year, the US Mint made a bunch of changes. For starters, they switched from copper to a copper-plated zinc composition. The problem was, a mistake happened during the production of some of these pennies, resulting in some pennies missing the mint mark that usually tells you where the coin was made, like Philadelphia or Denver. Now, most pennies from 1982 either have a D for Denver or no mint mark at all, indicating they were made in Philadelphia. But in the mix of all this, a rare batch of pennies didn't get the mint mark, which is where the magic happens. These no mint mark pennies are super rare. You see, collectors go crazy for mistakes like this. It's the perfect storm of rarity, historical value, and just plain good luck. Most of us can't even imagine how much something like this could be worth. But when the penny was first discovered, it didn't have an immediate stamp of worth millions. It took time for it to gain recognition, but now, the value is through the roof. Value of the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. The real kicker here is the price tag. The value of a 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny? We're talking up to $2.6 million if you happen to have one in mint condition. That's right, $2.6 million. So, the next time you're just chilling with a jar of pennies, don't be too quick to toss them in the coin jar without checking, because that little piece of copper, or zinc, technically, could change your life. But, wait a minute, what exactly makes this penny worth so much? It's not the composition, and it's definitely not the fact that it's a penny. What makes it valuable is its rarity and the fact that it was a minting mistake. So rare, in fact, that it's one of the holy grails for coin collectors. This is one of those needle-in-a-haystack situations. Alright, enough of the backstory, let's get to the good stuff. How can you tell if you've got one of these million-dollar pennies? Here's the deal. The key feature is the absence of a mint mark on the reverse side of the coin. Now, the 1982 penny is going to look pretty much like every other penny you've ever seen. Except, it's the missing mint mark that makes it stand out. Normally, on pennies from Philadelphia, you'd see a tiny P on the reverse side of the coin. But the 1982 no mint mark? Nada. Nothing there. It's a sneaky little bugger. And it's not just the lack of a mint mark that makes it valuable. If it's in perfect condition, you're looking at a coin that might be worth even more than $2.6 million. But here's the thing. Finding one of these in mint condition is like finding a unicorn in your backyard. You've got to be super lucky. Now, I've got to tell you a story that really hits home for me. A few years ago, I was going through an old box of coins that I inherited from my grandmother. It was full of loose change from the 80s and 90s, mostly pennies, nickels, and dimes. Nothing special, I thought. But one day, I decided to go through it just for fun. 'Cause why not? And here's where it gets wild. I found a 1982 penny, no mint mark. I was so pumped at first, thinking, could this be it? Could this be the legendary coin? But of course, after a closer look, I realized it wasn't in mint condition. It had some wear and tear, and wasn't going to fetch me millions. It was more like $1 at best. But hey, I felt like I was holding a treasure for a brief moment. Always take a second look at your pennies. They might not all be worth millions, but there's a chance that one might surprise you, just like it surprised me. Alright, so now you know the scoop on the 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's rare, it's valuable, and it could make you a fortune if you happen to have one sitting around. But, like any good treasure hunt, it's all about keeping an eye out for the unexpected, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next person to uncover a coin worth millions. Go dig through those coin jars, check those old change cups, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more tips on finding coins that are worth serious money. You never know what treasure is hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you've already found a coin like this, or just want to share your coin collecting stories, drop a comment below. I love hearing about people's discoveries. Catch you in the next video, where we'll dive into more hidden gems in the world of coins. Don't miss it, and if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Trust me, there's so much more to discover when it comes to valuable coins. And I've got the insider tips you need to get ahead. What if I told you that a penny, a coin that most of us probably toss around like it's not even worth our time, could be worth $2.6 million? Yeah, you heard me right, $2.6 million. It sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what's happened with a 2006 penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a penny. How much could it really be worth? Well, sit tight, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself digging through your spare change. Grab a cup of coffee, or if you're like me, a snack. Maybe even a bag of pennies, and let's dive into this crazy world of coin collecting. So, here's the deal. In 2006, something strange happened at the US Mint. While most pennies that year were stamped with the traditional mint mark, a few got out there without one. No D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Just a blank spot where the mint mark should be. Now, you might be thinking, okay, it's a mistake. Who cares? That mistake is what makes this penny so valuable. And by valuable, I mean the kind of valuable where you could sell it and buy a house, a car, and maybe even a vacation home on the beach. I mean, seriously, who knew a penny could be worth more than some people's entire yearly salary? Let me explain. The 2006 no-mint mark penny is an error coin, and like any rare error coin, it catches the attention of collectors. Think about it. How often do you find a coin that's supposed to have a mint mark but doesn't? Hardly ever, right? That's what makes this penny stand out like a sore thumb, and it's exactly what makes it so valuable. It's so rare that collectors are willing to pay big bucks for it. In fact, if you manage to find one of these rare pennies in your pocket change or at a yard sale, you could be holding on to something worth up to $2.6 million. I'm not joking. The most expensive 2006 no-mint mark penny ever sold went for that insane price at an auction. And before you say it's impossible, let me assure you, it's not. There's a very real chance that there are still more of these out there waiting to be discovered. But how do you know if you have one of these elusive pennies? Well, here's where you need to get your detective hat on, because it's all about the details. First, look for the year. It has to be 2006, no earlier, no later. Then, inspect the penny carefully. You're looking for the absence of a mint mark. Most modern pennies will have a D or an S on them, which stands for the Denver or San Francisco Mint. But if there's no mint mark, that's your clue that it's a potential jackpot coin. Now, here's where I'll share a personal story with you. A while ago, I was at a flea market. I'm a sucker for a good flea market find, by the way, and I spotted a jar of loose pennies. You know the kind, just sitting there with a sign that says 50 cents for the jar. Now, I'll admit, I wasn't expecting to find anything amazing, but you better believe I was digging through that jar like a treasure hunter on a mission. As I was sifting through, I pulled out a few 2006 pennies. I almost tossed them back, thinking they were just, well, pennies, until I remembered this exact story. I pulled out my magnifying glass. Yes, I carry one with me now, and inspected each coin one by one. Sure enough, one of them was missing the mint mark. Now, I didn't think it was worth $2.6 million, sadly, but I had a mini heart attack in that moment, thinking I was holding on to a future lottery ticket. Long story short, I didn't strike it rich that day, but I learned a very valuable lesson about paying attention to the small stuff. Coin collecting isn't just about rare coins. It's about paying attention to details that could change your financial future. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how do I cash in on this 2006 no mint mark penny? Here's the thing. If you think you've found one, do your homework. It's not just about finding the coin. It's about getting it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Once it's authenticated, you can either sell it through an auction or find a buyer who's looking for that exact coin. Just remember, these pennies are extremely rare, so don't expect every 2006 penny to be worth millions. But hey, even if your penny's only worth a couple $100, that's still more than the face value. So, there you have it. The 2006 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny could potentially be worth $2.6 million. But it all comes down to luck, timing, and knowing what to look for. Keep your eyes peeled, and remember, coin collecting is a treasure hunt that could pay off big time. Before I go, if you've learned something today, or if I just made you feel like a coin expert, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth money and strategies to level up your collecting game. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Who knows, your next penny could be the one that changes your life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, hopefully with a treasure chest of coins. Alright, imagine this for a second. You're at a yard sale, you're sorting through a jar of loose change, and bam! You find a coin that could make you richer than your wildest dreams. Sound too good to be true? Well, buckle up, because we're talking about the 1988 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, this little guy could be worth more than your car, your house, and maybe even your college tuition combined. That's right, $2.7 million. Million with an M. So, before you rush off to check your spare change drawer, let me tell you all about this coin, why it's so valuable, and how you might already have one of these bad boys sitting in your collection. Okay, let's break this down. The 1988 no mint mark penny is no ordinary penny. Normally, pennies have a mint mark on them, indicating where they were produced. But for some reason, don't ask me why, maybe it was just a mistake, or maybe someone in the mint was having an off day. The 1988 penny came out with no mint mark. Yeah, that's right. A little hiccup in the production line and boom. Suddenly you have a coin that's worth millions. Now, the mint mark is usually located on the reverse side of the penny, right underneath the date, and it tells you whether it came from the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, or the San Francisco Mint. But the 1988 no mint mark penny? That was supposed to have a Philly mint mark, but it didn't. This little oopsie turned out to be a huge deal in the coin collecting world. Here's where the story gets really interesting. You're probably wondering, how much could one of these things really be worth? Well, in 2017, a 1988 no mint mark penny was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $2.7 million. That's right, million. Now, don't go running to your change jar just yet. Not every 1988 penny without a mint mark is worth that much. It has to be in pristine condition. So, if you've got one of these in your collection, you need to check the condition. We're talking about a coin with no scratches, no dirt, and no wear and tear. Basically, a coin that looks like it just rolled off the minting press yesterday. If it's in that good of shape, you could be holding a piece of history. Now, before you get too excited and start digging through every penny you find, let me tell you a personal story. I remember the first time I thought I'd hit the jackpot. I was at a flea market, and I found what I thought was a rare 1943 steel penny. I was practically shaking with excitement. I took it to a dealer, told him my find was worth thousands, and he just looked at me and said, "Buddy, that's a common find. It's worth maybe $1." Talk about a letdown, right? So, here's the thing. While there are plenty of pennies out there that could be worth something, you need to really know what you're looking for. And believe me, not every rare coin is actually rare. But if you get lucky, and you find a 1988 no mint mark penny that's in top-notch condition, you could be holding something that's worth a small fortune. And here's another tip. If you're serious about coin collecting, don't just look at pennies. There's a whole world of rare coins out there that could surprise you. Old dimes, nickels, quarters, you name it. It's all about knowing what to look for, and that's where I come in. Because I'm here to give you the inside scoop on which coins are worth money and how to spot the ones that could make you rich. So, if you've got a jar of pennies lying around or you're scouring yard sales and flea markets, just keep in mind that a 1988 no mint mark penny could be worth a fortune. But remember, It has to be in great condition, and not every one of these pennies is going to be worth millions. But hey, it never hurts to check. If you want to keep learning about coins that could make you money, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss out on tips, tricks, and coin collecting strategies. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up next. And hey, who knows? The next big find could be in your pocket. I have a story to tell you that's going to make you look at your penny jar a whole lot differently. Imagine this. You're rummaging through your change and bam, you find a penny. Not just any penny, though. This one's from 1985, but it's missing something crucial, a mint mark. Sounds like a no-brainer, right? It's just a regular penny. Or is it? Well, I'm here to tell you that this little penny could be worth a whopping $2.9 million. Yep, you heard me right. Almost $3 million for a coin that was once floating around in your pocket. So, how do we get here? And why are we talking about a penny? Let me take you on a wild ride through the world of rare coins, missing mint marks, and what to do when you find one. Stick around till the end. I've got a cool tip for you on how to spot these hidden treasures yourself. Alright, let's get into the heart of it. You're probably wondering, what in the world makes a 1985 penny worth nearly $3 million? Well, here's the deal. Every coin the US Mint produces typically has a mint mark. That tiny little letter tells you where the coin was made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But what happens if there's no mint mark at all? That's where things get interesting. In 1985, a batch of Lincoln pennies was struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark, something that wasn't supposed to happen. This is super rare, which is exactly what makes these pennies so valuable. They're considered an error coin. And if you're lucky enough to have one, it's not just a random penny. It could be worth a fortune. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, but how do I even know if I've got one of these magical pennies? Good question. The first thing to check is the date. If it's 1985 and there's no mint mark under the date, hold on tight. But just to be clear, not every 1985 penny without a mint mark is worth millions. Condition matters too. The coin needs to be in great shape, ideally near mint condition. If it's all scratched up and dinged from being tossed around in your pocket for 30 years, the value might drop significantly. Let me tell you about a time I thought I hit the jackpot. One morning, I was at a yard sale, just browsing around, nothing fancy, and I spotted a jar full of coins. I thought, why not? I'll take a look. I started flipping through, and there it was, a 1985 penny that looked a little different. My heart raced, and I almost ran straight to the seller with a handful of cash. But then I did a quick check. The coin had some wear and tear, and no mint mark. After doing a bit of research, it turned out it wasn't an error coin, just a regular penny. I still got it for $1, though, which I thought was a good deal at the time. But if I'd found the right one, mint condition, missing mint mark, I'd be telling you a very different story today, huh? The point is, don't jump the gun too fast. You need to be careful, and maybe, just maybe, you'll stumble upon one of these rare error coins that make you rich. Now, let's talk about market value. You might be asking, why is a coin from 1985 worth so much money? The truth is, the value of coins like these is determined by rarity, condition, and demand. There aren't many of these 1985 no-mint mark pennies out there, and even fewer in pristine condition. So, when a coin does pop up at an auction, collectors are willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on it. In fact, one of these pennies was sold at auction for nearly $2.9 million in 2018. Yes, that's not a typo. Almost $3 million for a single penny. Insane, right? You can't help but think, I should have checked that jar of change my grandma left me. These coins aren't easy to find. They're incredibly rare, and the chances of stumbling upon one in your pocket change are slim. But hey, it's not impossible. That's what makes the hunt so exciting. And let's not forget the satisfaction of finding a rare coin that no one else has noticed. It's like being part of a secret club, only your club has millions of dollars in it. Okay, so how do you get started looking for these rare error coins? The first step is to start paying attention. Don't just toss your pennies in a jar. Check them out, especially the older ones. If you've got a collection of pennies from the 1980s, take a few minutes to look at them more closely. Look for anything out of the ordinary. The key is knowing what to look for. And even if you don't find a $2.9 million penny, you might still find something worth a pretty penny. If you've got a 1985 penny with no mint mark, hold on to it. But don't just stop there. Get into the habit of looking at all your coins carefully. You never know what you might find, and who knows, you could be holding a small fortune in your hand right now. Coin collecting is about more than just the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of learning, and the excitement of discovering something that not many other people know about. So, next time you're at a garage sale or sifting through your coin jar, take your time. That $2.9 million penny could be waiting for you. If you want more tips and tricks on how to find coins that are worth big bucks, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on what we'll cover next. We've got tons more valuable coin tips, strategies, and stories coming your way. Have you ever thought that your loose change might be hiding a small fortune? No? Well, after today's video, you're going to start looking at those pennies in your couch cushions a little differently. I mean, imagine finding a penny that's worth $2.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right, million with an M. Let me tell you about the 1989 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little guy isn't just some old copper. Nope, it's a true treasure. And if you're lucky enough to find one, it could make you a millionaire. Stay tuned, because I'm about to break down why this coin is so valuable, and I'll share a personal story that will make you wish you had checked your change more carefully. Alright, so first things first. You're probably asking, what the heck is a 1989 no-mint mark penny? And why is it worth a cool $2.8 million? Great question. Let's dig into it. Back in 1989, most pennies were made at the US Mint, and each penny had a mint mark on it, right? That mint mark tells you where the coin was made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Normally, coins from the Philadelphia Mint will have no mint mark at all, but in this case, the 1989 penny is a bit of a mystery. You see, during the 1989 production, the US Mint accidentally left off the mint mark on some of the pennies that were produced in Philadelphia. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, that's just a small mistake, right? Nothing to get excited about. Well, that little mistake turned out to be big money for some lucky collector. You see, a normal 1989 penny is worth about 1 cent. That's it. But if you've got a 1989 penny with no mint mark, bam! You could be holding something worth millions, depending on its condition. The key to this coin's value is rarity. The error was so rare that it took years for collectors to even realize it was a thing. Now, let's talk about the $2.8 million penny. Yes, in 2018, an exceptionally rare 1989 no-mint mark penny, in pristine condition, sold for $2.8 million at auction. I mean, you could buy a small island with that kind of money. Who wouldn't want to trade a penny for a piece of land and a private beach? Not all 1989 no-mint mark pennies are worth that much. To get top dollar, the penny has to be in near-perfect condition, what coin collectors call MS 65 or higher. The shinier, the better. So, while it's unlikely that every 1989 no-mint mark penny will make you a millionaire, it's definitely worth checking your coins for any signs of this rare minting error. Now, let's pause here. I've got to share a funny story. I was at a coin show last year. Just me, a bunch of other collectors, and a whole lot of pennies. And guess what? Some guy walked in with a jar full of pennies. No kidding, a jar. Everyone thought he was just another guy trying to get rid of his loose change. But the guy was smart. He had done his homework and was convinced that there were a few rare ones in there. Long story short, after a little digging, he found a 1943 steel penny worth $1,000. And that's when I realized, you have to check your pennies. So, moral of the story? Don't just toss them into a jar. You might have a hidden gem just sitting there, collecting dust. So, let's wrap it up. That 1989 no-mint mark penny might just be sitting in your coin jar right now, waiting to make you a millionaire. Just remember, not all of them are going to be worth $2.8 million. But if you've got one, keep it safe, get it checked, and who knows, you might just have a piece of history and a big paycheck on your hands. If you want more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and how to spot hidden treasures in your loose change, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more coin secrets to share with you, and I promise I'll make it as fun as finding a rare penny in your pocket. You're cleaning out your grandma's attic, or maybe you're at a garage sale and you find a penny. Not just any penny, but a 1966 penny with no mint mark. And you're like, it's just a penny, right? Wrong. That little copper disc might just be worth, well, let's say, enough to make you double-check your pockets. In fact, it could be worth a cool $1 million. Yes, you heard that right, $1 million. So stick around because today, we're diving into the mysterious world of the 1966 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny and why it's worth way more than you probably think. How on earth is a penny worth $1 million? Well, my friends, grab a chair and a cup of coffee, or a glass of water, we don't judge. Because this story is going to take some interesting twists. Okay, first things first. What makes the 1966 penny so special? A regular 1966 penny should have a mint mark, right? Well, here's the kicker. Some 1966 pennies were struck without the mint mark. And if you've been around coins for a while, you know that missing mint marks are like the holy grail of the coin world. It's like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of threes. Sure, there are a few lucky ones, but they're rare as hen's teeth. You might be wondering, how does something like that happen? Well, in the 1960s, there was a little bit of chaos going on with the US Mint. They were shifting their production processes around and making a few changes in how things were stamped. Apparently, a batch of 1966 pennies came out of the Denver Mint without a mint mark. And that's where the magic happens, folks. These little errors are the reason collectors lose their minds over them. And trust me, when collectors go wild, so does the value. The 1966 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is considered a major error coin, and one that can go for serious cash in today's market. All right, I know you're dying to hear the numbers. Hold on to your hats, because this penny can sell for up to $1 million at auction. A penny, people, just one little coin that was probably tossed around in your change jar or lost under the couch cushions. To make this real for you, one of these bad boys fetched a jaw-dropping price at a recent auction, a cool $1 million. Let that sink in. Now, before you go running to dig through all the pennies in your collection, let's talk about what you should look for. Because, let's face it, not every penny from 1966 without a mint mark is going to be worth $1 million. No, no, no. There's a little more to it than that. These pennies need to be in mint condition, with no wear, tear, or excessive corrosion. So, if you find one that's been through a car wash or spent too much time in your dad's coin jar, it might not be the $1 million ticket you were hoping for. Speaking of digging through pennies, let me tell you a little story about my personal experience with a much less impressive coin discovery. A few years ago, I was sorting through a box of old coins I had inherited from my great-uncle. I remember being super excited, thinking I'd struck gold when I found what I thought was a rare coin. A 1955 double-die penny. I felt like a coin collecting king, ready to retire at 30. But after getting it appraised, the dealer was like, it's a nice piece, but not a rare variety. Turns out, my rare coin wasn't the double-die variety at all. It was just a well-worn regular penny. So, yeah, I had to swallow that disappointment. But the lesson? You gotta know what you're looking for. And that's why we're here, my friends, so you don't make the same mistake. Let's say you do stumble upon a 1966 penny with no mint mark. How do you know if it's worth something? Well, first off, look at the date. The 1966 penny without a mint mark will show no D or S on the reverse side, below the date. Then, check the condition. The best ones, of course, are those in uncirculated condition. But even if you find one in decent shape, it could still bring in a pretty penny, pun intended. And as always, get it appraised by a reputable dealer if you're unsure. They'll tell you if you've got a treasure on your hands. But don't just stop there. There are other coins from the 60s and beyond that are also worth checking out. You never know. You might find yourself sitting on another gold mine. The 1966 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a true rarity, and it could be sitting right under your nose. If you ever come across one, make sure to check it carefully. You could be holding on to a coin worth a small fortune. Now, before I let you go, if you want to keep learning about coins that are worth big bucks, and the ones that aren't, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tips and tricks. I'll be sharing even more coin collecting strategies to help you find the hidden gems in your collection. Now, I know you're here because you've probably heard about this insanely rare coin, the 1991 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and you're wondering, How on earth can a penny be worth $1 million? Well, buckle up because this is going to be a fun ride. But first, I've got a quick question for you. Who here has checked their pocket change recently and thought, nah, it's probably not worth anything? Pause. Well, I'm here to tell you. Sometimes your pocket change is a whole lot more valuable than you think. Let me explain why that 1991 penny you might have just tossed in your jar could be worth a small fortune. All right, let's talk about this penny. If you don't know what makes it so special, don't worry, I got you covered. In 1991, the US Mint accidentally produced a batch of pennies without a mint mark. Now, that may sound like something small, like a little oopsie, but let me tell you, in the world of coin collectors, this mistake is huge. And when I say huge, I mean this penny is now worth around $1.1 million. Yeah, you heard that right, million with an M. But here's the thing. These pennies didn't just fall out of the sky. They were produced in large quantities, so most people have probably tossed them aside without realizing their true worth. Now, if you're one of the lucky few who's found one, congratulations. And if you haven't, well, I'll tell you exactly what to look for, so don't go tossing any more coins just yet. So, how did this happen? Well, in 1991, the US Mint was producing pennies in Philadelphia, but somehow, a batch slipped through the cracks that didn't have the usual D or S mint mark. These mint marks are crucial because they tell collectors where the coin was made. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver, D. Or San Francisco, S. Without the mint mark, this penny became a true anomaly. It was like finding a unicorn in a field of horses, except the unicorn is a penny and worth $1 million. It looks like any other 1991 penny. That means it has the standard design featuring Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing fancy, until you notice that no mint mark on the reverse side. The value. As of today, these coins can fetch around $1.1 million at auction. Why? Because of their rarity and the fact that they're a complete mistake from the mint. But not every 1991 penny is worth that much, so you need to know what to look for. The value can vary based on the condition of the penny. Coins that are in mint or near mint condition, meaning they have no scratches, discoloration, or wear, are going to fetch the most. If yours is tarnished or beat up, it may not get anywhere near that $1 million mark, but hey, it could still be worth something. Now, I can already hear some of you out there thinking, I've got a jar of pennies at home. What are the odds that I've got one of these rare coins? Well, funny story, that actually happened to me. A couple of years ago, I was going through my own jar of change, sorting through a mess of pennies, dimes, and a few nickels. I thought, why not? I'm going to check if I have anything rare, even though I really didn't think I would. And there it was, a 1991 penny that had no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I thought, this is it. I'm rich. But after doing some quick research, I realized my penny was so scratched up, it might as well have been part of a construction site. Not exactly the $1 million kind of condition, so while I didn't strike it rich that day, I still learned an important lesson. Always check your change, folks. You never know when you could have $1 million penny hiding in plain sight. And speaking of checking your change, here's what you need to know about spotting these rare coins. Look for that no mint mark. 1991 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint should have no mint mark. The problem is, you might have a hard time telling just by looking at it, especially if it's worn or corroded. But don't worry, it's all about inspecting those pennies closely. It has to be from 1991. If it's not, then don't even bother. But trust me, it's worth looking because who knows what else could be hiding in that jar of yours. Keep in mind that rare coins like these can fluctuate in value depending on the market. The $1.1 million price tag I mentioned could be different a few years down the road, so always stay updated on the latest auctions or sales. Alright, folks, I hope you now have a newfound respect for your pennies, and not just because they can change your life financially. Sure, most pennies are worth only 1 cent, but some are worth a lot more. If you've got a jar of pennies sitting around, I highly recommend giving them a second look. You never know. You could be holding onto a gem that's worth a fortune. Even if you don't find that $1 million coin today, there are still plenty of other coins out there that are worth much more than their face value. I've got more tips and tricks for you, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos about coins that are worth a ton of money. Who knows? Your next coin could be a game. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Big Coins Dealer where we talk about coins that could turn your pocket change into a fortune. Imagine this. You're digging for a quarter in your couch cushions, and instead, you find a simple 2014 Lincoln penny. You shrug, toss it into the penny jar, and go on with your day. Well, what if I told you that penny, yes, that ordinary-looking 2014 penny with no mint mark, could be worth up to $1 million? That's right, folks. One of the most unassuming coins out there might just be the golden ticket you've been ignoring this whole time. Stick around because today, we're diving into the story of the 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's worth a staggering amount of money, and how you can find one. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be turning your house upside down looking for one of these little copper treasures, the 2014 no mint mark penny. What's the deal? All right, so what makes this 2014 Lincoln penny so special? I mean, we've all seen these in our pocket change. They're not rare, right? Well, not exactly. Most 2014 pennies were minted at either Philadelphia, no mint mark, or Denver, with a D mint mark, and they were mass-produced in the billions. But there's one specific version that has collectors and numismatists absolutely losing their minds. Somewhere, in the vast sea of ordinary 2014 pennies, there exists an ultra-rare, error-filled, no mint mark Lincoln penny that's unlike any other. The exact cause of its rarity is still debated. Some say it's a major minting error, others believe it's a unique test strike that somehow made its way into circulation. Whatever the reason, this coin has become the holy grail of modern pennies. And get this, one of these pennies recently sold for a whopping $1 million. Yes, you heard me right. A single penny. One sent 10 million times its face value. How to spot the $1 million 2014 penny now? Before you go dumping your entire piggy bank onto the floor, let's talk about how to identify this unicorn of a coin. That's good. If your 2014 penny has no mint mark, don't panic. That alone doesn't make it valuable. Philadelphia pennies don't have mint marks. But it's an important first step. Check for errors. This is where things get spicy. The rare 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny is believed to have a major minting anomaly. Double dies, where parts of Lincoln's face or letters look doubled, misalignment, if the design looks off-center, strange metal compositions, some versions may have the wrong metal mix, weight matters. A normal 2014 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, you might have something unusual. Color check. Some rare error pennies have been struck on the wrong planchet, coin blank, which means they may appear silver or have an odd metallic sheen. You know, this reminds me of a time when I was this close to cashing in a rare coin without even realizing it. A few years ago, I was sorting through a jar of coins to roll them up for the bank. I wasn't even paying attention, just grabbing pennies, nickels, dimes, and stuffing them into wrappers. Right before I was about to take them to the bank, something caught my eye. A penny looked off. The color was slightly different, and Lincoln's face looked kind of fuzzy. Turns out, it was a double-die penny from the 1990s worth a few $100. I nearly sent it off for a 1-cent deposit at the bank. Can you imagine? So, moral of the story, always check your change, people. Always. Okay, let's say you strike gold and find a 2014 penny that looks different. Don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can actually destroy its value. Just leave it as is. Get it authenticated. Take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll verify whether it's the real deal. Auction it off. If it turns out you have the $1 million penny, auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers can help you cash in big time, so there you have it. The 2014 no mint mark Lincoln penny that could be lurking in your coin jar, your couch cushions, or even at the bottom of your car's cup holder. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post new videos all the time, sharing coin collecting tips, strategies, and jaw-dropping stories of people who cashed in on rare finds. And hey, before you go, let me know in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found in your pocket change? I love hearing these stories. Ever thought that the humble penny jingling in your pocket could be worth a fortune? Well, today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1973 D. Lincoln penny, a coin that might just make you look twice at your spare change. So, grab your magnifying glasses and let's uncover the secrets of this potentially valuable coin. First things first, let's get acquainted with our star of the show. The 1973 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, as denoted by the little D mint mark under the date. In 1973, the Denver Mint produced over 3.5 billion of these pennies. That's a lot of Lincolns. But don't let that massive number fool you. Not all pennies are created equal. You might be wondering, with billions minted, why would any of these be valuable? Great question. The value of a coin hinges on several factors. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating a coin in better condition. A 1973 D penny in average circulated condition is typically worth about 2 cents, thanks to its copper content. However, uncirculated coins, those that haven't been used in everyday transactions, can fetch more. For instance, a 1973 D penny graded MS-67, that's Mint State 67, sold for nearly $5,000 in 2014. Talk about a glow-up. Red pennies, especially in pristine condition, are more sought after and can command higher prices. Mistakes happen. Even at the mint, some 1973 D pennies have unique errors that make them valuable. A raised lump on the coin's surface due to a broken die. A penny mistakenly struck on a dime-sized planchet, giving it a silvery appearance. Features a doubled image, noticeable on the date or inscriptions. These errors can significantly increase a coin's value, sometimes into the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Let me share a little story. A few years back, I was helping my grandmother clean out her attic when we stumbled upon an old piggy bank. Inside, among the nickels and dimes, was a shiny 1973 D penny. Intrigued, I took it to a local coin dealer. To my surprise, it was graded MS-66RD and valued at over $1,000. Not bad for a day's attic cleaning, right? Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Rumors have circulated about a 1973 D penny fetching $1.1 million. While it's true that some coins have sold for astronomical sums, there's no verified record of a 1973 D penny reaching that price. The most valuable known sale was the MS-67RD specimen I mentioned earlier, which sold for nearly $5,000. So, while it's fun to dream, it's essential to approach such claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. This will help you spot minute details and potential errors. Stay informed. Join coin collecting forums, read up-to-date guides, and consider consulting with professional graders. While not every 1973 D penny will make you a millionaire, some can be worth more than their face value, especially if they're in exceptional condition or have unique errors. So, next time you come across a 1973 D penny, take a closer look. It might just be a hidden gem. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coin collecting and want more tips on coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Share your coin discoveries in the comments below, and let's keep this treasure hunt going together. You're sifting through your pocket change, and suddenly, a humble 1987 D. Lincoln penny catches your eye. Could this little copper coin be your ticket to $1 million payday? Well, today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1987 D. Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. We'll explore its history, value, and the tantalizing tales of coins that have fetched jaw-dropping sums at auctions. So, grab your magnifying glasses and let's embark on this numismatic adventure together. Let's start with the basics. The 1987 D. Lincoln penny was minted at the Denver Mint, as denoted by the D Mint mark. In 1987, the Denver Mint produced a staggering 4,879,389,514 of these pennies. That's nearly 5 billion coins. Given this massive mintage, the 1987 D penny is quite common and can still be found in circulation today. These pennies are composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, a composition that began in 1982 when the U.S. Mint transitioned from the traditional 95% copper pennies due to rising copper prices. The obverse features the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor D. Brenner, while the reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo. Now, let's talk value. In circulated condition, the 1987 D penny is typically worth its face value, just 1 cent. However, Uncirculated or mint state (MS) coins can fetch a bit more. For instance, an MS-65 grade coin might be valued around 35 cents, and higher grades can command slightly higher prices. But don't start planning your retirement just yet. These values are modest. You might have heard rumors of certain pennies fetching over $1 million at auctions. While it's true that some rare pennies have sold for such astronomical sums, the 1987 D penny isn't among them. The most valuable pennies are usually those with rare minting errors or unique historical significance. For example, a 1943 D bronze Lincoln cent sold for $840,000 due to its rarity and the unique circumstances of its production during World War II. The real treasures in the coin world are often error coins, those with mistakes made during the minting process. Some errors can make a coin significantly more valuable. For the 1987 D penny, known errors include: this occurs when the coin is struck twice, resulting in a doubling effect on the design elements. A 1987 penny with a double die error can be worth up to $150. This happens when the mint mark is stamped more than once, creating a shadow effect. Such an error on a 1987 penny can fetch around $125. If the coin is not properly aligned during striking, part of the design may be missing. Depending on the degree of the error, these coins can be worth up to $100. Let me share a little story. A few years back, I was helping my grandmother clean out her attic when we stumbled upon an old jar filled with pennies. Among them was a 1987 D penny that looked a bit off. After some research, we discovered it had a minor off-center strike error. While it wasn't worth a fortune, the thrill of finding a unique piece of history was priceless. It just goes to show, you never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. If you're intrigued by the idea of coin collecting, here are a few tips to get you started. Learn about different coins, their history, and what makes them valuable. Examine your change. Always check your pocket change. You might find a rare coin in everyday transactions. A good magnifying glass and a coin reference guide can be invaluable. Connect with other collectors through local clubs or online forums to share knowledge and experiences. While the 1987 D Lincoln penny might not make you a millionaire, the world of coin collecting offers endless opportunities for discovery and enjoyment. Who knows? Your next handful of change could contain a hidden gem. So, keep your eyes peeled, stay curious, and happy hunting. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of pennies and want to learn more about coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of coin enthusiasts, and let's uncover the treasures hidden in our pockets together. Ever thought that the humble penny in your pocket could be your ticket to millionaire status? Well, today, we're diving deep into the world of the 1998 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's been making waves with a staggering market value of $1.2 million. Buckle up, because this is one treasure hunt you won't want to miss. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny worth over $1 million? Did I stumble into a numismatic fairy tale? But stick with me, and we'll unravel this intriguing story together. First, let's get to know our star, the 1998 Lincoln penny. Typically, these were minted in Philadelphia and bear no mint mark, which is standard for Philly coins. But not all no mint mark pennies are created equal. The plot thickens when we flip to the reverse. See the America inscription? On most 1998 pennies, the letters A and M are so close they're practically hugging. But on some rare specimens, there's a noticeable gap, a wide AM variety. This little spacing quirk can make a big difference. In 1998, the U.S. Mint accidentally used a die intended for proof coins to strike some regular circulation pennies. This goof resulted in the wide AM variety. While not worth millions, a 1998 wide AM penny can fetch between $10 to $25 in circulated condition, and uncirculated ones can go for even more. But let's talk big bucks. The 1943 copper Lincoln penny is one of the most coveted error coins. During World War II, the mint switched to steel for pennies to conserve copper. However, a few copper blanks were mistakenly used, creating ultra-rare coins that have sold for over $100,000. I remember rummaging through my grandfather's old coin collection as a kid, hoping to find one of these legendary 1943 copper pennies. While I didn't strike gold, it ignited my passion for coin collecting and the thrill of the hunt. So, While the 1998 no mint mark penny isn't fetching millions, certain varieties like the wide AM are still valuable finds. The key takeaway? Always check your change. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin lore and want more tips on spotting valuable coins, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Join our community of coin enthusiasts and let's uncover hidden gems together. Happy hunting! While the 1998 no mint mark penny isn't valued at $1.2 million, certain error coins like the 1943 copper penny have fetched high prices at auctions. Always consult with a reputable coin appraiser or numismatic expert to determine the value of your coins. Alright, folks, what if I told you that a simple, everyday penny could be worth a life-changing $1.3 million? Yeah, you heard that right. Not a rare gold coin, not an ancient relic, but a 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Before you go tipping over your couch cushions or raiding your piggy bank, stick around because we're breaking down exactly why this tiny copper treasure is so valuable, how to spot one, and most importantly, could you be the lucky owner of $1 million penny? I'll also share a little story about how I once thought I struck it rich with a rare penny, only for reality to hit me like a bag of nickels. So, grab a snack, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's talk money. So, what makes the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special? It all comes down to a major mistake at the US Mint. Normally, pennies are stamped with a small letter to indicate where they were made, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and nothing for Philadelphia. But in this rare case, something bizarre happened. Certain pennies were struck with a missing mint mark, but here's the kicker. They weren't from Philadelphia. That means we're dealing with a genuine mint error, and collectors love mint errors, especially ones this unusual. Combine that with the fact that hardly any of these pennies made it into circulation, and boom, we have a $1.3 million coin floating around in people's pocket change. How to identify the $1.3 million 1994 no mint mark penny? Alright, let's get into the fun part, checking your change. Obviously, the key giveaway is that the penny is missing a mint mark under the year. But remember, Philadelphia pennies normally don't have one either, so there's another step. Ultra Sharp Strike. The special 1994 no mint mark error pennies were struck with a special die, making them appear almost proof-like, sharper than your average penny. A genuine 1994 error penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If you have a kitchen scale, time to put it to good use. If you think you've hit the jackpot, get that bad boy checked out by PCGS or NGC, the top coin grading services. They'll confirm if you have a true mint error worth big bucks. Now, I know some of you are skeptical. $1 million penny? Come on, that sounds like something my Uncle Larry made up after one too many beers. And you know what? I get it. These kinds of stories float around all the time. But let me tell you, rare coins have sold for insane amounts before. Just ask the guy who found a 1943 copper penny and cashed out for over $1 million. And speaking of wild coin stories, let me tell you about a time I thought I had a jackpot coin. But reality had other plans. Picture this. I'm at a flea market, digging through an old jar of coins, and I spot a shiny 1944 wheat penny. My heart starts pounding. Because, as some of you might know, a 1944 steel penny can sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I whip out my phone, check the details, and for a brief, glorious moment, I think I've struck it rich. I rush home, grab my scale, measure the weight, and boom. My supposed treasure weighed too much. Turns out, I had a common 1944 penny worth about 1 cent. Always verify your coins. And hey, at least I didn't spend my imaginary millions before realizing my mistake. A 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, but not from Philadelphia, could be worth a life-changing $1.30 million. These rare pennies have a proof-like strike, specific weight, and need authentication. Always check your coins, because treasure could be hiding right in your pocket. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications because I post more tips on coins. Worth serious money. You don't want to miss out. Your next trip to the grocery store could make you a millionaire. You're sifting through your pocket change, and suddenly, you stumble upon a penny that's worth more than a Lamborghini. Sounds like a plot twist, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1990 Lincoln penny, a tiny coin with a jaw-dropping value of up to $20,700. Let's uncover the story behind this elusive treasure and see if you might have one hiding in plain sight. Our tale begins at the San Francisco Mint in 1990. Typically, proof pennies minted here proudly sport an S mint mark, a tiny letter indicating their origin. However, due to a minting mishap, a small batch of these proof pennies was released without the S mint mark. This error resulted in the rare and coveted 1990 Lincoln penny. It's like the Mint's version of forgetting to sign a masterpiece painting. You might wonder, why would a missing S make a penny so valuable? Great question. The allure lies in its rarity. Out of the millions of proof pennies minted that year, only about 3,055 were released without the S mint mark. Today, it's estimated that fewer than 200 of these coins are known to exist. This scarcity, combined with the coin's unique backstory, makes it a prized possession among collectors. In fact, a near-perfect example of this coin sold for a whopping $20,700 at a 2007 auction. Not too shabby for a 1-cent piece, right? So, how can you tell if you've hit the numismatic jackpot? First, it's essential to understand that the 1990 penny is a proof coin. Proof coins are specially minted for collectors and have a mirror-like finish with frosted details. They were originally sold in proof sets, not released into general circulation. Therefore, finding one in your pocket change is about as likely as finding a needle in a haystack. However, if you have any 1990 proof sets lying around, perhaps inherited from a grandparent or purchased at a garage sale, it's worth taking a closer look. Examine the penny carefully. If it has a mirror-like finish and lacks the S mint mark under the date, you might be holding a valuable error coin. Remember, regular 1990 pennies from the Philadelphia Mint also lack a mint mark, but they don't have the special proof finish and are not considered rare. Let me share a little story. A few years back, I was at a local coin show, chatting with a dealer who had a box of miscellaneous coins. Amidst the mix, I spotted a 1990 proof set priced at $15. Something told me to take a closer look, but I shrugged it off and moved on. Later that day, I couldn't shake the feeling, so I went back, only to find the set had been sold. To this day, I wonder if I missed out on discovering a 1990 penny. The moral of the story? Always trust your gut and take a second look. You never know what treasures await. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden gems and fascinating stories. The 1990 Lincoln penny is a perfect example of how a small error can lead to significant value. So, next time you're sorting through old coin sets or visiting a flea market, keep an eye out for that elusive penny. Who knows? You might just find a piece of history worth a fortune. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin lore and want to learn more about valuable coins and collecting tips, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of treasure hunters, and let's uncover the hidden wealth in our pockets together. Imagine this. You're digging through your change at the gas station, looking for a couple of pennies to round up the total, and bam, you spot a 2002 Lincoln penny. Nothing special, right? Just another 1-cent coin. But hold on. What if I told you that one of these seemingly ordinary pennies could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million? Yeah, you heard that right today. We're talking about the mysterious 2002 No Mint Mark Lincoln penny, the ultra-rare coin that's making collectors lose their minds. Could you have one of these bad boys hiding in your couch cushions? Stick around, and let's find out. And hey, if you love discovering treasure in your pocket change, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more money-making coin secrets coming your way. The mystery of the 2002 No Mint Mark penny. So, what's the deal with this coin? Most pennies from 2002 were minted with a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But the rarest of the rare? The ones with an O mint mark at all. Now, before you start emptying every piggy bank in sight, let me break down what makes this coin so valuable. It's not just any 2002 penny missing a mint mark. There's a specific error that makes it a collector's dream. Why is it worth $1.50 million? Alright, here's where it gets crazy. This penny isn't just missing a mint mark. It was actually struck on a planchet intended for a different coin type, a combination of minting errors so rare that only a handful exist. One recently sold at auction for over $1.5 million, and that price keeps climbing because collectors are willing to pay insane amounts for these one-of-a-kind mistakes. Think about it. How often does something this rare slip past the US Mint's eagle-eyed quality control? Almost never. That's why when it does happen, the value skyrockets. What to look for in your 2002 penny now? Before you start thinking every 2002 penny without a mint mark is a winner, hold your horses. No mint mark? Seems obvious, but not every missing mint mark means instant riches. The error pennies are specific to certain batches. Wait, a genuine error penny might have an unusual weight compared to a regular one. You'll need a digital scale for this. Strange coloring or strike errors. If your penny looks a little off, maybe the lettering is blurry, or Lincoln's face is kind of distorted. You might have something special. I remember when I first got into coin collecting, I was convinced I found a rare penny. I showed it off to a collector friend, feeling like I'd hit the jackpot. He took one look at it, laughed, and said, "Buddy, that's just a regular penny you left in your jeans during laundry day." Lesson learned: do your research before celebrating. Okay, let's say you actually find one of these rare 2002 no mint mark pennies. First off, congrats. You just hit the coin collecting lottery. Get it authenticated. Take it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm it's legit. Auction houses, major coin auctions, like heritage auctions, attract serious collectors willing to shell out millions for rare finds. Online marketplaces, eBay can be an option, but be careful. There are lots of fakes out there. Always get your coin certified first. Oh, the big question. Could you be sitting on a $1.5 million treasure without even knowing it? There's only one way to find out. Start checking those pennies. Next time you're at the store and get some change back, take a second and give those coins a good look. You never know what might be hiding right under your nose. And hey, if you love learning about coins worth serious money and strategies for finding them, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I've got tons of tips, tricks, and wild coin stories coming up that you won't want to miss. Hit that like button, drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, and I'll see you in the next one. I bet you're not expecting to hear this, but there's a penny out there that could make you a millionaire. Seriously, imagine holding onto something as simple as a penny and realizing it's worth a whopping $1.6 million. Sounds like a fairy tale, right? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. An awesome little coin that could change your life if you find it. Stick around, because we're talking about the 1978 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Trust me, you won't want to miss this story. It's worth its weight in gold. Or, in this case, pennies. Let's get into it. So, let's break this down. What's so special about a penny, right? I mean, we all probably have a handful of pennies rolling around in our couch cushions, and to be honest, most of us don't even bother looking at them twice. But what if I told you that you might have a gold mine hiding in your pocket change? How could a penny be worth $1.6 million? Well, let me tell you, this isn't your average penny. You see, most pennies have a mint mark, which tells us where they were made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But in 1978, something crazy happened. Some Lincoln pennies were struck without a mint mark, and that tiny little error is what makes them so valuable today. Why? Because it's incredibly rare. We're talking about a mistake that slipped through the cracks, and now coin collectors are chomping at the bit to get their hands on one of these bad boys. It's the missing mint mark that gives this coin its unique status. And get this coin wasn't even intended to be a valuable rarity. It was just a small error that no one noticed at the time. But today, it's a major find. Okay, so we know the 1978 penny is special. But let's talk about how a coin worth just 1 cent has exploded into a market value of $1.6 million. Yeah, that's right. You could buy a new car, a house, or, depending on where you live, maybe even a small island, all thanks to this little penny. How can I tell if I've got one of these bad boys in my collection? That's a great question, and trust me, you'll want to know what to look for. The easiest way to spot one is by checking the mint mark area on the reverse side of the coin. If there's nothing there, no letter, no sign of minting at all, then congratulations, my friend. You've got a potential gold mine. But hold on a second. Before you start digging through every penny you've ever owned, let's talk about what this actually means for you. Not every 1978 penny without a mint mark is automatically worth $1.6 million. In fact, the value depends on things like condition, rarity, and where it was found. For example, if you find a 1978 penny that's been heavily worn or damaged, it might not fetch nearly as much. The condition of the coin, like the grade it receives from professional evaluators, is crucial. But if yours is in mint condition, you could be holding something really special. You know, this whole idea of finding hidden gems reminds me of a personal experience. A few years ago, I was cleaning out an old jar of coins I had been collecting from various trips. You know, that random jar where you toss change and forget about it for years? Well, I came across a 1943 steel penny. I had no idea what it was at the time, but it looked weird, like it had a different color than the other pennies. Now, I wasn't thinking it was anything valuable. I just tossed it in a drawer, but later, when I did a little research, I found out that steel penny was worth over $100. Talk about a facepalm moment. So, moral of the story, don't ignore your loose change, folks. You never know what you're holding on to. Alright, so let's recap. If you happen to come across a 1978 penny with no mint mark, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. That little mistake has skyrocketed in value, and it could be worth as much as $1.6 million, depending on its condition. But remember, not all pennies are worth that kind of money, so make sure to check your collection carefully. And if you find one, it's worth getting it graded by a professional. Who knows, you could be the next coin millionaire. Before we wrap things up, I've got to say, I hope this video has inspired you to take a second look at those pennies that have been gathering dust. If you found this info useful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more tips on rare coins and strategies to make some serious cash in the world of coin collecting. And hey, if you ever find something like the 1978 no mint mark penny, don't forget to come back and tell me about it. I'd love to hear your stories and maybe even do a follow-up video on your success. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy hunting, coin lovers. Ever thought a humble penny could be worth more than a mansion? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1970 Lincoln penny. Spoiler alert. One of these little copper coins once fetched a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. Let's uncover the story behind this numismatic marvel and see if you might have a treasure hiding in your pocket change. Now, before you start emptying your piggy banks, let's clarify a common mix-up. The 1970 Lincoln penny is indeed a collector's item, but the record-breaking $1.7 million sale was actually for a 1943 D penny struck in bronze, a unique error coin. However, certain 1970 D pennies can still be quite valuable, especially if they possess specific features or errors. So, what makes a 1970 D penny special? First off, the D mint mark indicates it was minted in Denver. In 1970, the Denver Mint produced over 2.8 billion of these pennies, making them common in circulation. But, as with many things in life, it's the little details that count. One key factor is the coin's condition. Collectors grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating a coin in better condition. A 1970 D penny in average circulated condition might fetch around 25 cents, but one in pristine, mint state, MS 65 red, condition could be worth up to $19 or more. Color also plays a role. Pennies can exhibit different hues based on their copper content and exposure to the elements. Red pennies are the most sought after, followed by red-brown and brown. A 1970 D penny with a rich red tone is more desirable and valuable to collectors. Now, let's talk errors. Not the kind we make in life, but the kind that make coins more valuable. In 1970, several notable errors occurred during the minting process. Some pennies were mistakenly struck on dime-sized planchets, resulting in a thinner coin with a silvery appearance. These errors can range in value from $180 to $850, depending on their condition. Coins that were not properly aligned during striking exhibit off-center designs. The degree of the off-center strike and the coin's condition can influence its value, typically ranging from $30 to $300. These occur when the coin is not fully seated in the collar during striking, leading to a distorted or railroad rim appearance. Such errors can be valued between $15 and $80. Defective planchets. Imperfections in the metal blanks used to strike coins can result in various anomalies, with values ranging from $30 to $225. So, how do you determine if your 1970D penny is a hidden gem? Start by examining its condition. Is it shiny and free from scratches? Does it have a vibrant red hue? Next, look for any unusual features or errors, like off-center designs or odd markings. If you think you've got something special, consider having it graded by a professional coin grading service to assess its authenticity and condition. Now, let me share a little story. A few years back, I was rummaging through an old jar of coins my grandfather had collected. Amidst the usual pocket change, I found a 1970D penny with a peculiar off-center strike. Intrigued, I had it appraised, and to my delight, it was valued at over $200. Not quite a million, but not bad for a penny found in a dusty old jar.in. Conclusion. While not every 1970D penny will make you a millionaire, some can be worth significantly more than their face value, especially if they're in excellent condition or exhibit unique errors. So, next time you come across a 1970D penny, take a closer look. You might just have a valuable piece of history in your hands. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins and want to learn more tips on identifying coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join our community of coin enthusiasts, and let's uncover more hidden treasures together. All right, folks, today we're diving into something so wild it'll make your grandma's cookie jar look like a treasure chest of, well, treasure. Have you ever found a coin sitting in your jar of loose change that made you stop and think, could this be worth a fortune? I know I have. But today's coin? It's not just worth a couple of bucks. We're talking about a coin that could actually make you a millionaire. Stick around, because this penny might just change your life. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Get ready for the scoop on the 2015 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and how it's now worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. It's 2015, and the US Mint is cranking out pennies like it's no big deal. They're just doing their usual thing, slapping the Lincoln Memorial or the shield design on those tiny copper pieces. But something went wrong. And I mean really wrong. Some of those 2015 pennies, they were released without a mint mark. Now, usually you'd see a little D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But these guys? Nothing. Nada. Zip. It's like they went rogue and started printing their own tickets to coin history. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, a penny without a mint mark. Big deal. Well, my friend, that little oversight turned into one of the most sought-after errors in modern coinage. And here's the kicker. It's not just rare. It's worth a serious chunk of change. Like $1.8 million kind of change. Yeah, I said it. $1.8 million. Now, let me tell you, I didn't even know what I had in my pocket when I found a penny without a mint mark once. I thought I was going crazy. I mean, I was about 10 years old, and I had no idea about this kind of stuff. I kept it for a while because I thought it was cool, but looking back, it's one of those moments where you just slap your forehead and ask, what the heck was I thinking? But this story isn't about my missed opportunity to become a millionaire at 10 years old. It's about you possibly discovering your very own 2015 no-mint mark penny today. Imagine pulling it out of your change jar, cleaning it off, and realizing it could be worth more than your car. Okay, probably not your car, but it's worth checking. So, how do you spot this penny that could change your life? Well, first, look for that telltale sign. No mint mark. As I mentioned earlier, normal pennies from that year should have a mint mark on them. If yours doesn't, you've got yourself a potentially rare coin. However, don't get too excited just yet. Not every no-mint mark penny from 2015 is worth $1.8 million. The condition matters a lot. This penny has to be in pretty perfect shape. We're talking about a coin that's well preserved, no wear and tear, and all the details still crisp. And here's where it gets interesting. Only a handful of these error coins were ever released into circulation. So the likelihood of finding one in your pocket is like finding a unicorn in your backyard. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. Just keep your eyes peeled. Let's say you do find one. Now, what do? First, get it checked out. I recommend taking it to a professional appraiser or a coin dealer who knows what they're talking about. But don't just rush to sell it. Make sure it's the real deal and in the right condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. I know, it's like finding a rare Pokemon in the wild, but if you've got that gem, you want to make sure it's in tip-top shape. Trust me though, I wouldn't recommend cleaning it yourself. Please, leave that to the pros. I once tried to clean a silver coin, and let's just say it didn't come out looking shiny and new. I still have the tarnished mess in my collection, a sad reminder that some things are better left untouched. Now, before you get too carried away with excitement, remember, while this penny is rare, it's also about finding the right collector or the right market. If you hit the jackpot, well, you're in for a payday. But if not, you've still got a unique coin that's worth more than a regular penny. So there you have it, folks. The 2015 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those rare treasures that could turn your spare change into a small fortune. Who knew that such a tiny mistake in the minting process could have such huge rewards? Keep an eye on your loose change and your coin collections. You never know when you'll find a little gem worth big money. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into coin collecting, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got loads of tips, strategies, and stories to share with you about coins worth money. Trust me, you're going to want to stick around, because the next treasure you find might just be sitting in your couch cushions. So, let's get collecting, and maybe one day we'll both be laughing all the way to the bank. So, you thought you were just holding on to a regular penny, right? Well, think again. Because if you've got a 2017 D Lincoln penny tucked away in your change jar, you might be sitting on a little gold mine. I'm talking about a coin that's worth a whopping $1.9 million. Yeah, you heard me right, $1.9 million. And no, it's not a typo. In today's video, I'm going to break down why that little penny could make you a millionaire. Or, at least, set you on the path to getting there. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty of why this 2017 D penny is such a big deal. First things first, let's talk about what makes this particular penny different from the millions of other 2017 pennies that were minted. It's not just any ordinary penny. This coin is one of those rare errors that collectors go crazy over. It's got a special die variety, which means it was struck incorrectly at the US Mint. But here's the kicker. There are only a handful of these bad boys floating around. That's what makes it so valuable. Now, to give you a bit of history, pennies have been in circulation since 1793, and throughout the years, there have been all kinds of minting errors. Most of the time, these errors end up in the trash, but the ones that survive end up being worth a lot of money. A perfect example of this? The famous 1955 double die penny, which can go for tens of thousands of dollars. But what makes the 2017 D penny even crazier is its unique error, a double die variety that occurred during the minting process. Some of these coins were struck with more than one impression of Lincoln's face and the date, which is a big no-no in the coin world. So, naturally, collectors go wild for them. So, how did this penny go from being worth just 1 cent to a mind-blowing $1.9 million? Well, to put it simply, rarity equals value. There are only a few known to exist, and that makes them highly sought after by serious collectors. People will pay a pretty penny, pun intended, for something that's rare and in good condition. In fact, some people are willing to drop millions just for a chance to own a piece of US history like this. So, if you've got one of these, you might want to sit down for a second, because you're holding something that could change your financial future. But here's the thing. Finding one of these 2017 D pennies in circulation is like finding a needle in a haystack. The chances of stumbling upon one at a store or in your spare change are super slim. But don't let that discourage you. I actually had a similar experience a while back. A couple of years ago, I found a penny in the parking lot, and for some reason, I just picked it up. Normally, I wouldn't even bother, but for some reason, I felt like it had potential. I didn't think it was worth much, but I decided to keep it as a little reminder that anything could be valuable if you look hard enough. That penny turned out to be a rare 1943 copper penny, worth over $100,000. I was floored. It was one of those, oh wow, I can't believe this just happened moments. And I'm not saying that this will happen to everyone, but you never know when you'll come across something rare and valuable. So, how do you spot a 2017 D penny that's worth $1.9 million? Well, it's not as simple as just checking the mint mark. You've got to look for the specific error. Most of these 2017 D pennies with a double die will show noticeable doubling in Lincoln's features, especially his face and the year 2017. If you've got a magnifying glass or a loupe handy, you're going to want to inspect the coin closely. You'll see some pretty clear signs of a doubled image if it's the right kind of error. If you think you might have one of these rare pennies, it's a good idea to get it professionally graded by a coin expert. There are several grading services out there, like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, that can authenticate and grade your coin. And trust me, you want to make sure it's the real deal before you start bragging about it at family dinners, SO. To wrap it all up, if you've got a 2017 D penny in your collection, take a moment to look it over. It could be worth way more than you think. While the odds of finding one of these are slim, there's still a chance that you're holding onto a coin worth a fortune. Just remember, it's all about the rarity and the condition of the coin. So, inspect, verify, and get it graded. And hey, maybe you'll be the next lucky coin collector to strike it big. Before you go running off to search your change jar for that potential $1 million penny, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and a bit of humor thrown in, this is the channel for you. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on what's coming next. Who knows, the next coin you find might just make you a fortune. What do you think a penny is worth? A cent? Maybe two? Well, buckle up, because today I'm about to blow your mind. Imagine this. You find a penny, and it's worth $2 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2 million. You think I'm pulling your leg? Stick around, and let me show you how a humble 1987 D Lincoln penny could be your ticket to becoming the next big coin millionaire. All right, let's get into it. The 1987 D penny, the one with the D mint mark. You've probably seen hundreds of them, right? It's the kind of coin you drop in your change jar without a second thought. But here's the thing. In the world of coin collecting, not all pennies are created equal. Sure, you've got your standard pennies that are worth, well, a penny. But then, you have these rare gems, like the 1987 D Lincoln penny, that could make your jaw drop. Now, I know what you're thinking. This looks just like any other 1987 D penny. But there's something special about a few of them out there. Not all of them, mind you. Just the ones that have a rare error. Something that slipped through the cracks of the minting process. And trust me, these things don't happen every day. The 1987 D penny that's worth $2 million is a special case. It's not just any penny. This coin has a significant error, a die-cast mistake that happened during the minting process. It's an off-center strike penny, meaning the coin was struck off-center during production, making it a rare and unique error. Now, imagine finding one of these little guys. You're holding a tiny treasure worth a fortune, and it's sitting in your pocket like it's just another piece of change. But, of course, we're not all lucky enough to find one of these million-dollar beauties. So, how do you spot them, and why are they so valuable? Well, for starters, the error needs to be obvious. You'll see a noticeable shift in the design, especially on the Lincoln portrait and the lettering. If you're lucky enough to find a penny with that off-center strike, congratulations! You might just have a coin worth thousands, or, if you're really lucky, millions. Cut to a graphic showing a well-printed 1987 D penny on one side and a misprinted off-center penny on the other. The value of these error coins comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. And boy, is there demand. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for these types of errors. A single misstruck penny from the right year, in perfect condition, can skyrocket in value. And, folks, we're talking about a 1987 D penny that has fetched up to $2 million at auction. Yeah, that's not a typo. If you've got one of these in your collection, you might want to start checking the price tag. I've got to tell you a quick story about how I got into coin hunting. A few years ago, I was just like most of you, collecting coins here and there, tossing them in a jar. I never really paid much attention to the details. But one day, I was at a garage sale, and I picked up a jar of old pennies for just a couple bucks. I wasn't expecting much, but hey, it's a fun hobby, right? I started going through the jar and, bam, I found a 1943 steel penny in the mix. If you know anything about those, you know they're worth a lot more than face value. That little find got me hooked. Since then, I've been on the lookout for rare coins, and believe me, you just never know when the next big one is going to show up. Now, I know not everyone's going to walk out of their house and stumble upon a $2 million penny, but don't let that discourage you. Coin collecting is full of surprises, and you'd be amazed at what's hiding in your spare change. So, next time you pick up a penny, take a moment to really look at it. It might just be the start of your coin collecting journey, and who knows? You could be the next one to strike it rich. And hey, if you enjoyed this little nugget of coin wisdom, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips, tricks, and coin strategies. I've got plenty more where that came from, and you don't want to miss out on future videos about hidden coin treasures and how you can spot the next big find. Thanks for watching and happy hunting. May your pennies always be worth more than you think. Alright, picture this. You're walking around with a pocket full of change. You've got your usual coins, a couple of quarters, some dimes, a nickel that's practically a museum piece, and then, in the middle of all that, you spot a penny. You know, the one that's been with you for ages. It's scuffed up, a little tarnished, maybe even has a few battle scars. But wait, is that a 1991 penny without a mint mark? Hold up, hold up. Before you toss that penny into the jar or use it to park your next snack, I need you to stop. Because this one little penny, well, it could actually be worth a cool $2.1 million. Yeah, you heard me right, million. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to want to go digging through your change jar. So, let's break this down. In 1991, the US Mint struck a ton of pennies. But most of them were made at the Philadelphia Mint, which means they came with a little P on them. You know, that mint mark. But guess what? Some genius over at the Mint forgot to stamp that tiny P on a bunch of them. And that tiny, unassuming error makes all the difference. You see, in the world of coin collecting, errors are gold. Not literally, of course. That'd be way cooler. But errors like this? They make collectors and investors lose their minds. A missing mint mark is like finding a tiny, rare treasure buried in a pile of regular coins. Now, let's get into the good stuff. If you happen to have a 1991 penny with no mint mark, and we're talking about an error that happened at the Philadelphia Mint, not just a random penny with no mark, you're holding on to something very special. Why? Because these rare little gems are now worth a whopping $2.1 million. Yes, $2.1 million. I know, right? If I found one, I'd probably faint too. And hey, I get it, this might sound like one of those too good to be true stories, but it's not. This penny's high value isn't some hype thing. It's legit. But let me tell you, it's not like I'm just over here rolling in rare coins, alright? No, no. Let me tell you about the time I thought I had a rare coin, and it was just a regular coin. I once thought I found a rare coin in my change. It was a 1982 penny. The way it looked just screamed vintage, right? So, I was like, I'm about to retire early with this bad boy. I Googled it, and guess what? It turned out to be a standard penny, not even a mistake. Just a regular OL penny. I could have sworn it was special. But nope. My dreams of being a millionaire vanished faster than I could say, misprint. But the point here is, mistakes happen. And that's exactly why you need to stay on top of your coin game. Like, how else are you going to spot a gem like that 1991 no mint mark penny when it's sitting right there in your pocket? So, why does this little mistake make it so valuable? Well, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The reason this coin can be worth millions is because, well, it's an error. And that's the magic word in the world of coin collecting. Rarity. No one at the mint meant to leave off that mint mark, so it's an extremely rare piece. Here's the thing. Most of the time, people overlook coins like these. They're not shiny, they don't have any glam factor, and let's be honest, who's gonna pay attention to a penny in your pocket? But if you've got that 1991 no mint mark penny, that's where things get real interesting. So, how do you know if you've got one of these million-dollar babies in your collection? It's actually pretty simple. Just flip it over and check for a mint mark. The mint mark should be right below the date. If it's missing, you could have a 1991 penny that's worth a small fortune. Now, here's the catch. Just because it's missing the mint mark doesn't mean you're going to get $1 million for it. The coin needs to be in decent condition, ideally uncirculated. If it's got a few dents, scratches, or if someone used it as a chew toy, yeah, I've seen it happen. The value will drop. But even then, you could still fetch a pretty penny, pun intended, from collectors. Check your pockets, check your jars, and maybe even raid the couch cushions. You might just find a 1991 no-mint mark penny that's ready to make you a millionaire. Or at least a few $100. Trust me, coin hunting isn't just for the pros. Anyone can do it, and you don't need to be a numismatist to spot a hidden treasure. If you want more tips like this, strategies to spot coins that could be worth a fortune, ways to protect your collection, and everything else you need to know about the world of coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips coming your way, and you're not going to want to miss it. Oh, and if you've got any cool coin stories or want to share your own coin finds, drop a comment below. Do you have any old pennies laying around in your drawer or stuck between your couch cushions? You might want to grab that jar of change right now because today, we're talking about one specific penny that could make you rich. No, seriously, rich. We're diving into the 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And guess what? It's worth a jaw-dropping $2.20 million. Yes, you heard that right, $2.2 million for a penny. Now, I know you're probably thinking, is he messing with me? But trust me, stick around, and I'll show you why this penny might just be hiding in your collection right now. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips on coins worth money that could turn your pocket change into pure gold. Alright, let's talk about this mystery penny. It all starts with the 2000 penny, but not just any old penny. This one's missing something crucial, the mint mark. Usually, you'll find a tiny letter on the back of a penny, near the bottom, indicating which mint it was made at. It's a cool little detail that collectors love to hunt for. But in the case of the 2000 no mint mark penny, that mint mark is mysteriously absent. Now, before you go Googling 2000 no mint mark penny and try to sell your entire change jar, let me tell you why this penny is such a big deal. This coin, in particular, was produced in Philadelphia, but for some reason, the mint forgot to add the P mark, a small oversight that turned out to be a huge deal. While the U.S. Mint typically stamps a P on pennies from the Philadelphia Mint, this specific batch was an accidental error. And as it turns out, errors like this are gold in the coin world. Collectors love rare mistakes, and this one just happens to be one of the most coveted. Now, let me hit you with some numbers. If you find a 2000 no-mint mark penny in good condition, it could be worth anywhere from a few $100 to a couple of thousand. But here's where it gets crazy. The most famous one of these rare pennies, in pristine condition, went for a record $2.2 million at auction. Yes, you could have had your own personal $2.2 million penny. I mean, what other coin can you say that about, right? Let me tell you a quick story about my own experience with this kind of coin hunt. A few years ago, I was at a local coin shop, just browsing and seeing if there was anything interesting. The guy behind the counter hands me a jar of pennies. You know, the kind your grandma used to have, all scratched up and worn out. I picked through them, hoping to find something worth even a few bucks. But as I'm looking, I spot something weird. It's a 2000 penny with no mint mark. My heart skipped a beat. I thought, no way. Could this be it? But, of course, the condition wasn't great, and I didn't think much of it. Still, the excitement was real. I almost made the same mistake every coin collector does, assuming every error penny is worth millions. So, what should you be looking for if you think you might have one of these rare coins? 2000. Then, you need to look closely for the missing mint mark. If it's missing that little P, you've got a potential gold mine. Now, don't get too carried away. Most of these error coins won't make you a millionaire, but even a worn-out penny could fetch a few $100 if the error is significant enough. And let's talk about condition for a second. If you happen to find a 2000 no mint mark penny that looks like it just rolled out of the factory, you're in luck. These things can be worth big money, especially if it's in near-perfect shape. The ones that have been well-preserved or graded as MS 67 or higher are the ones that collectors pay top dollar for. But here's the kicker. Finding a mint condition 2000 no mint mark penny isn't easy. It's like searching for a needle in a haystack. So, before you start running around like a chicken with its head cut off, make sure you know what you're looking for. And trust me, it'll be worth it when you stumble upon a coin that could turn your life upside down. In a good way? So, to wrap it up, The 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a rare treasure that could be worth a whole lot of cash. Whether you find one or not, it's a reminder that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Maybe it's time to take a closer look at those pennies sitting around in your house. You never know. Your next find could be worth more than your car. Before I let you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm always sharing tips, tricks, and the inside scoop on coins worth money. Who knows? Maybe next time, you'll be the one finding a coin worth millions. Did you know that a penny could be worth millions of dollars? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, hold on to your change jars, because today, we're talking about a coin that could make you richer than you ever imagined. The 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. That's right, the humble penny. It's not just a pocket change kind of coin anymore. It's a full-on treasure. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth $1 million bucks? Come on, that's gotta be some kind of joke. But stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll know why this little copper beauty has a current market value of over $2.3 million. I know, I can practically hear your brain doing flips right now. But first, grab your magnifying glass, a snack, and let's dive in. You won't believe what's hiding in plain sight. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Most of us are familiar with the classic Lincoln penny, right? You've probably got a few of them rattling around in your coin jar at home. But here's the catch. In 1994, a handful of these pennies didn't get their mint mark stamped on them, and that's where the magic happens. Normally, every U.S. coin produced gets a mint mark, which indicates where it was made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But some of the 1994 Lincoln pennies slipped through the cracks, and instead of the D for Denver or S for San Francisco, they're completely blank. No mint mark at all. Now, you're probably asking, how did this happen? Well, it turns out it was just a simple error in the minting process. Nothing too dramatic, but for collectors, this no mint mark thing is like finding a hidden gem in your morning cereal. These rare errors are what turn an ordinary penny into something valuable, like a coin so rare it might just be worth more than your car. But why exactly is the 1994 no mint mark penny worth so much? Coins like this are rare, super rare. And when a coin is rare, people want it. The law of supply and demand kicks in, and suddenly, a penny that's been hanging out in your change jar for decades could make you a small fortune. Right now, this particular penny is valued at a whopping $2.3 million, which is insane. And honestly, who wouldn't want to pull a random penny out of their pocket and say, "Oh, this? Just a couple $1 million. No big deal." But here's the crazy part. Most people don't even realize they've got one of these minting errors in their pocket. I mean, think about it. Who's checking their pennies? I wasn't, until I found a rare 1994 penny myself. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm about to tell you a story of how I discovered one of these elusive little treasures. So, there I was, sorting through my change jar one lazy afternoon. I'd been putting pennies in there for years, just tossing them in without a second thought. Then, one day, I decided to take a closer look, for fun. And boom, there it was, a 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. I thought, no way, this can't be real. So, I did what any reasonable person would do. I Googled it, and sure enough, I was staring at something worth potentially millions. Let me tell you, that moment was like winning the lottery. My heart was racing as I stared at that penny, imagining all the things I could do with $2.3 million. I mean, who knew that after years of saving pennies, one could be my ticket to wealth? So, moral of the story, always check your change. You never know what kind of treasure you've been sitting on. Now, for all of you out there wondering how to tell if your 1994 penny is the real deal, let's talk about the key signs to look for. First off, check the date, 1994. That's your starting point. Then, flip it over to see if there's a mint mark under the United States of America inscription. If there's nothing there, congratulations, you might have a rare one on your hands. But don't stop there. Always double-check the condition of the penny. The better condition it's in, the more valuable it's going to be. And don't forget to authenticate it. If you really want to be sure it's legit, you can always get it graded by a professional. But here's a tip. While it's fun to think your penny could be worth millions, remember that it's still a very rare occurrence. Even though the market value is sky high for a 1994 no-mint mark penny, the chances of finding one are pretty slim. So, if you don't find one in your own stash, don't be discouraged. Keep hunting and keep your eyes peeled for other coins worth money. You never know what treasure might be waiting for you around the corner. The 1994 no-mint mark penny is one of those rare finds that could turn your coin collecting hobby into a potential gold mine. If you have one, congratulations, you could be sitting on a small fortune. But even if you don't, keep hunting, because there are plenty of other coins out there that are worth way more than their face value. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips and strategies on how to find valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the next big coin discovery. We'll be diving into other coins worth a lot of money, and I'll make sure to keep it fun, friendly, and of course, full of useful info. So, hit subscribe, and let's keep this treasure hunt going together. And hey, if you found any rare coins in your own collection, drop a comment below. I love hearing your stories. Maybe you've got a penny worth millions just waiting to be discovered. You've just been handed a penny. You're about to toss it into your pocket, or maybe even the tip jar at the coffee shop when, bam, you realize you've got something that could be worth $2.4 million. Sounds like something straight out of a treasure hunting movie, right? Well, it's not. If you've ever heard of the 1984 no-mint mark penny, you know where this is going. Stick around because we're about to dive into why that seemingly ordinary penny could have a ridiculously big price tag, and maybe, just maybe, you've got one sitting in your collection. All right, let's set the stage. You're at a flea market, a yard sale, or maybe you've just been going through a pile of old pennies left over from your grandmother's coin jar. It's easy to overlook these tiny little coins, especially when they're from the 80s. But what if I told you there's one specific 1984 penny that's been making headlines for its value? $2.4 million. Yeah, you heard me right. That's not a typo. The 1984 no-mint mark penny is what we call an error coin. And not just any error, but a big one. You see, every year, the U.S. Mint stamps a mint mark on coins to let collectors know which mint produced them. In 1984, pennies were supposed to have either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco on them. But a very rare batch of pennies didn't get stamped at all. No mint mark. Zero. Zilch. Now, you might be thinking, okay, cool, but what makes this penny worth millions? Well, here's where it gets interesting. Because it's so rare, only a handful are known to exist. Collectors are chomping at the bit to get their hands on one. That rarity combined with its unusual story makes it extremely valuable. It's the holy grail for modern penny collectors. Just imagine holding one of these in your hands. But how do you know if your penny is one of them? Great question. The first thing you should do is check for the mint mark. No mint mark, no D or S anywhere. That's your first clue. But it's not just about the mint mark. You also want to look at the coin's condition. If it's been well preserved, if it still shines with that beautiful coppery glow, that's another win. These coins in perfect condition are the ones fetching those insane prices at auctions. I'll tell you a little personal story to make this more relatable. A few years ago, I was going through a bunch of old coins I inherited from my uncle, basically a small treasure chest of random change. I thought I had found gold when I stumbled upon a 1982 penny. That's not a big deal, right? But then, out of curiosity, I did a quick check to see if it was the rare copper version, and bam! I nearly choked on my coffee. Turns out, I had one of the rare 1982 pennies made from copper before they switched to zinc. It wasn't worth millions, but I sold it for a nice little chunk of change. That moment made me realize just how valuable these coins can be if you know what to look for. So, here's the thing. If you have a 1984 penny without a mint mark, it could be sitting in your drawer right now. Don't just toss it. Check your collection. Dust off those old jars of pennies you've been hoarding. Who knows? Maybe the next million-dollar coin is right in front of you. And it's not just about these rare pennies. There are tons of coins out there with hidden value. Whether it's error coins, rare varieties, or coins from special runs. Trust me, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and it's one of the most exciting hobbies out there if you know what you're doing. Before you run off to search through all your pennies, let me give you a friendly reminder. Coin collecting is an amazing hobby, but it's also a smart way to invest in your future. Now, I know $2.4 million doesn't come around every day, but you'd be surprised at what other coins out there might be worth. From nickels to dimes to quarters, there's always something hidden in plain sight. If you want more tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins worth money, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on all the cool stuff I'll be sharing. I'll be dropping more content to help you get into the world of coin collecting and find those hidden treasures. And hey, who knows? Maybe the next time you find an old penny, you'll be holding the next big